ignores that and hangs her. But they have the term there, and I looked it up in federal law. There is a way, even if that judge sat on that and claimed that your lawyer can kick it up and force the tribunal to at least respond to it and say they'll hear it or not, and then put something public on the record. Has your lawyer talked about that?
No, because it's a catch-22, because there's also something they don't tell you in my case. The day you file the lawsuit, you have 60 days in which to appeal it. Well, the judge sat on it for 6 months before she had the hearing, and then 3 more months before she ruled on it. So if I take it to the Court of Appeals, it gives them the perfect way out. All they have to do then is rule, well, the statute of limitations ran out.
Incredible, but I mean, I think it's 2 years. That was only like a year and a half ago.
You can't win either way. The point is, Alex, the bottom line is this. Our government does not respect us, the citizens, enough to allow us to make a decision on what's constitutional and what is not.
You're right.
They do not want any constitutional issue going before a jury because they cannot control a jury. And if a jury rules in the favor in my case, well, that could open up Pandora's box on them, because then there would be a precedence in court. So the easiest way to defend that is through what they call this administrative law ruling.
Yes, sir. Stay there.
Which was back in the days of Woodrow Wilson, when he wanted to bring in the damn Federal Reserve.
Stay there, Gov.
As we age, we lose both.
We're going to get into a host of other issues with former Minnesota Governor Jesse Ventura. You can get his best-selling book that's amazing, 63 Documents the Government Doesn't Want You to Read, at Infowars.com or bookstores everywhere. And by the way, Governor, you've also got your own site. We'll plug that here in a moment. But the governor hit something key. When I was flying out of Las Vegas a month ago, when I was out there shooting some interviews and doing some investigations with Ventura, with Jesse, when I'm flying out, they had me in the business class, so I got to go to the short line. But everybody's body scanned at that one. I didn't know that. So I, come out on the other end of the trap and say, I'm not body scanning. So they call me over. I start telling them that's going to give you cancer. They're like, no, it isn't. And then he says, I've got to do this. It's my administrative right, or you're going to face, the other consequences, which are now, they try to arrest you and stuff. And I said, well, I do this under distress. And he goes, it's my administrative right, as the gropelage began. And people are like, well, why'd you go through it? I wanted to experience it, kind of like, I guess, when Jesse was learning how to be tortured, nothing compared to that. But, I wanted to actually see what was going on. Plus, I wanted to get home to my family. I'd had about 3 hours sleep. But he said, this is administrative. And he goes, it's my administrative right. And his eyes literally twinkled with that power. So I guess his administrative power will also protect him from the radiation, which the TSA's been caught lying about, Governor.
Well, that's just it. It's called, you hit the nail on the head, Alex. I learned from my court case, it's called an administrative law ruling. And it was back in the days of Woodrow Wilson when they created the Federal Reserve. As we all know, our Constitution clearly states there will be no central bank. So the way they looped that was Wilson back then created these administrative law rulings that the president does. And apparently our courts have let them stand up to where they loop the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And that's how TSA is able to do, and this guy's able to say that to you, because what happened was George Bush did the same thing in creating the TSA. He did it under a presidential thing where he signs it, and therefore it makes it exempt from the Bill of Rights or the Constitution. It allows it to loop the law. It's called an administrative law ruling. And that's exactly the essence of my court case of why I am not allowed to go to court to determine whether my Fourth Amendment rights are being violated.
Now,
And here's all they do. The Congress then passes this and gives the TSA the ruling of, okay, go make our airports safe. Well, when they give them that instruction, that means they got carte blanche. They can do anything they want to do to allegedly make the airport safe, and you have no control, you have no Constitution or Bill of Rights protection at airports. And the other thing that's unique about it is, like it was stated by my my attorney and here's another interesting thing, Alex. When they rule against you, as what federal Judge Nelson did to me, they don't even do it face-to-face. They send you an email.
Yeah.
I mean, how pathetic and how cowardly is that? They won't even bring you into court, sit down, look you in the eye, and tell you why you can't go to court. They send you an email. But let me read what the order that my attorney, he said, her order dismissing our case for lack of jurisdiction reads much like the government's brief and does not directly address the gist of our argument regarding the constitutional absurdity of being subject to a secret order that can be changed in secret at any time and without notice and cannot be challenged in a district court.
Unbelievable.
Now, she ruled in favor of that. And so when you go to an airport, you don't even know what the rules are. They don't even have to tell you. So you got all these little guys like that guy you ran into who are kings of their own domain. In essence, he can do anything he wants there. And you can't know the rules. He can grope you anywhere. He can take you in a back room. Hey, if I was a pedophile, I'd get a job doing this in a minute.
Well, they've caught a lot of them doing that, but that's key what you just said, because they admit now over 2 million Americans are on the no-fly list, no way to get off of it, won't tell you why you're on it. That whole thing is secret. No judge, no jury. The end of our entire system, they put 3-year-old kids on it. Now they're saying to drive down the highway, you're going to have their authorization.
Yeah, well, they'll do it with these administrative law rulings until we as a people stand up and tell them enough of this.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And
no due process worse than China.
What's that?
Exactly. I'm saying no due process worse than China, and they just say administratively we say you can't fly, and now they're saying they're going to have an administrative no-gun buy list, Governor.
I wouldn't doubt it for a minute. Every one of our constitutional Bill of Rights is being assaulted by our very elected officials, by them allowing them to do this.
All right, we'll be back. I want to finish up with this to get into the JFK anniversary, all this stuff coming up. Stay with us. Jesse Ventura is our guest. We're going to get into a host of other issues. Aaron Dykes is also up there at the network riding shotgun. I know he's going to pop in a few minutes with a question for Jesse Ventura on the TSA. Aaron has to fly a lot shooting interviews for my films, and believe me, he used to like to travel. Now he's like, do I have to go on the road? And at a certain point, I have to morally say, no, you don't. Here's the company RV. But now they're going to set up highway checkpoints. Now, this dovetails into the protesters being attacked, the Bill of Rights under attack, all of it with Governor Ventura. But the heart of the matter is this administrative law. They set up the CIA in 47 and said it would be reviewable by Congress, but would be basically above the law. Now when the EPA shuts down selective power plants that aren't part of the insiders, they declare that it's administrative, that Congress has given them a blank check. But all of the common law and all the federal rulings until about the 50s and 60s stated this stuff is not even law. It's a fraud. So they just have made up trumped baloney that they then slap on top and do things that the most authoritarian states don't even do. And now they're saying they're going to have a no-gun buy list, folks. Are you ready for that? You didn't do anything wrong. No judge, no jury. You're not a felon. You're on the list. TSA says they want to have a system where you don't get a job unless they authorize you to have one. This is a total and complete federal power grab. Governor Ventura, how far can this corruption go? I mean, I know they're now teaching police everywhere that the Constitution is not relevant. I see that in state and federal cases where the judge says to people, you don't bring the Constitution in my courtroom to lawyers. Is this not classical treason?
I would think so. You know, it'll go as far as we allow them to go with it, because ultimately, Alex, it's our fault.
It is.
You know, and for being laissez-faire, for being asleep at the wheel, whatever you want to say, for not being concerned, for living in our own little lives and not paying attention to what they're doing. So whatever happens to this country is ultimately the people's fault. Now, but you still can't blame them solely. There are some dastardly people that are running our country and dastardly people that are in control of the power. And, it's very frustrating because you think no one's out there listening. You think no one cares because everyone lemmings. No one voices any concern. Again, I would love to see the day where everyone would boycott the airport in protest, but you can't get people to do that because they think they've been made safe. They think that because of 9/11, this is required in airports to keep us safe. And it's going to spill out of the airports, and it's going to spill into everybody's life, and I guess nobody's going to truly believe it until they come up to your home without a warrant, and they come inside to search it. And then I've even had people say to me, well, I've got nothing to hide. Why should I care if they do that? That's the attitude you got out there amongst a great deal of people, Alex. Well, I'm not a criminal. I don't care what they do. I have nothing to hide.
Exactly, but what about government in history, the horrible things it does when it's not kept on a short leash, as our founders with common sense pointed out? But think about the precept, the idea that anywhere there's a potential danger, government has a right to put its hands on you, to stop you, to arrest you, to keep you safe. Well, then I guess you can't ride a horse. You might fall off and get killed. You can't go surfing.
And that used to be the greatness of this country. The greatness of this country was the fact that you could come here and be self-reliant, that you wouldn't have a government hovering over your head, and that, yes, we'll stumble and make mistakes. Yes, things will happen. But it's like what I used to say when I was governor. You can't legislate stupidity. People will do stupid things. That's also part of freedom, the freedom to be stupid. You have freedom to be smart, and freedom goes both ways. And you can't sit back and jury pick what you're going to be free and what's not going to be free.
Well, it gives the feds an excuse to go everywhere if there's this shadowy enemy they can't defeat. But let me tell you a quick story and get your take on it. And then Aaron Dykes has got a question, who's up there in the studio in Austin, or I guess down there. I'm up here in Utah. I went to Meteor Crater, where one of the biggest meteors ever hit the Earth. And when I'd been there as a child, they let us hike down to the bottom. And the guy said, nope, because of lawsuits, even if you sign a form, lawyers still sue. They've taken the diving boards out of the swimming pools. They're taking the metal slides out everywhere. They're taking the merry-go-rounds out. Then I get to the Grand Canyon, and I said, these areas were open when I was in college. They go, not now. And they're even talking about getting rid of the mule rides, where you can't do that because somebody might get hurt sometime. And then I got to Monument Valley, Utah, and I hadn't read the fine print, and they said, oh, you're not allowed to go in 90+% unless it's on a little truck, and you can't really get off. You could just go to the front of it and look at them because somebody might get hurt. And, I mean, literally, this country is going beyond tyrannies we've seen in other nations.
Why do you think I live half the year in Mexico?
Yeah.
I go to things down there called the bloodless bullfights, where they don't hurt the bull. You still have the matador. The matador's in danger, but the bull isn't harmed at all. And so I don't have a problem with that. Well, one of the things, they do things in Mexico you wouldn't dare do here. Like they got a thing where they take two people out of the crowd and they put them on a teeter-totter, that goes up and down.
Yeah.
Only this one also circles like a propeller, and then they let a bull loose. And the bull charges, so you got to go up when the bull goes underneath you. I mean, it's hilarious. I turned to my wife. I said, oh, my God, could you imagine if somebody proposed this in the United States? See, I like living in Mexico because down there you're kind of on your own. And if you do something stupid, like if I go out surfing alone and I hit my head on the board and I drown out there, well, the Mexican people, they're going to feel bad for me, and they're going to probably say a prayer for me and all that stuff. But ultimately, they're going to say, what a big dummy he was. Why would you think of going swimming alone?
Exactly. I mean, that's what freedom is all about. And as you said, you'd rather face the danger.
Exactly. Than lose my freedoms. I would rather be able to go be stupid and go out into the water alone and kill myself than to have the army or the police on shore saying nobody's allowed to swim because you might kill yourself.
Well, that's always the greatest danger as well. Aaron Dykes, I believe Aaron's riding shotgun there. Aaron, you had a question for Governor Ventura?
Yeah, I did, and I wanted to go back to the great quote from Benjamin Franklin that he brought up regarding if you